Hello and welcome to our Voices series, where we talk with business and technology leaders about what they are seeing in the world today. I am Rich Holsman, and I am one of Accenture's European business leaders responsible for our Microsoft business. And the topic for the conversation today is on the future of manufacturing. Now, manufacturers have had a tough year with the pandemic and trying to keep business running during the pandemic. At the same time, trying to optimize, automate. There's been a promise for decades about the digital twin, and today it's more important than ever before. Well, on the call today, we are joined by two experts in this field that can share with us their thinking. I'm pleased to welcome Brendan Mislin, who is Accenture's Industry X lead for the Microsoft business, and Çağlayan Arkan, who is the VP of Manufacturing globally at Microsoft. Brendan and Çağlayan, welcome.
Thank you, Rich. Great to be here.
Thanks, Rich. Exciting topic.
So great, Çağlayan. I guess the first question I'll have is for you. So as I kind of teed up, as you look across the last year, it's been really a tough year for manufacturers with all of the challenges that the pandemic's brought. The crisis has meant it's been difficult for manufacturers to connect with their plants, to keep operations running. It's been difficult for them to connect with their suppliers and their customers. But at the same time, they've needed to keep production running, especially for the essential goods and those different areas. So as you look back at the last year, what would you say are the biggest challenges that they faced? And what have we learned in the last year that would help us for the future?
Yeah, great question, Rich. And thank you for the opportunity to discuss this very, very important topic. Look, before the pandemic, and you're very familiar with this because we partner on this for a long time with passion and energy, manufacturing was already facing difficulties. We were disconnected in terms of our data estate. We have like 20, 30-year cycles. Really getting to the insights was difficult. Digitalization was limited to a few disruptors, but it was not at scale. And then we had our other challenges from a digitalization standpoint, and then pandemic happened. Pandemic I characterize this as a slap on the face for manufacturing because it was just a big hole, particularly for discrete manufacturing. And then you ask what the biggest challenges were. I will say number one was business continuity. We stopped, literally. No one could see, well, I won't say no one, but most of the manufacturers were not able to see their supply chains, their suppliers, whether or not they were healthy, they were surviving, they couldn't see their inventory. They were not able to send their employees to the shop floor anymore, which is the modus operandi, as we all know. A lot of things are manual. None of was able to, resume, right? And so we stopped. And so that is a huge issue. Supply chains I talked about. We had a skills gap before the pandemic, and now workforces it was even more challenged in terms of they were not able to operate remotely, and then they were health and safety concerns informed by the pandemic, and economic pressures on top. So multiple challenges. It was a very, very tough year. And now I am delighted to see early signs of recovery and manufacturing. I'm also seeing, perhaps that's our next conversation, I'm also seeing acceleration in some digital investments and digitalization because everyone understands that we cannot be caught off guard like we were for the next disruption.
Okay, great. Thank you for those examples. So Brendan, maybe one over to you. So I know that together with Microsoft, Accenture and the Marsden Group are helping manufacturers kind of transform their businesses using some of the digital technologies that Çağlayan mentioned. So can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's right, Rich. So together, the three of us, so Microsoft, Marsden, Accenture, we're really focusing on helping our clients navigate the complexities of large-scale digital manufacturing transformation. And for a lot of our clients, that's really complex, right? We're talking about 50, 100, sometimes up to 300 sites. And you can imagine the variability we have there with sites in different countries, sites from different acquisitions, even sites with different levels of existing digital maturity. So it's legitimately complex, and it's not even all that easy sometimes to figure out where to start on one of these journeys. So to tackle all that, we're really focused on helping them navigate that entire journey from where to start to where to go to, and obviously all along the way focusing on value. So every MVP we do, every new site we bring online, every conversation we have, we want it to be really focused on delivering value. And to give you an example, one of the clients that we're working with right now together, they've got about 100 sites spread all over the world. And we worked really closely with them to define that long-term manufacturing transformation roadmap, all the way down to the level of detail of the first 5 or 10 use cases that we wanted to implement. And we kicked off a proof of value to implement just that, the first one of those use cases in a factory, using Azure IoT Hub and Azure Digital Twin, like Çağlayan was referring to, in the digital technologies. And so not only did our joint team, Microsoft, Mars, and Accenture, deliver that project and realize the value that we were hoping we were going to get, they actually did the whole project without once setting foot in the manufacturer's facility. So back to what Çağlayan was saying about remote manufacturing being critical, absolutely. I mean, this client had restrictions around COVID access, and at the beginning thought, we should probably just delay this whole program, and not at all, right? We executed the whole thing, including designing sensors and deploying sensors and everything, without setting foot once in there. So definitely really exciting area to be helping clients focus on, especially given all the kind of digital advancements we're seeing in digital twin and things like that.
So that is pretty exciting. So not only is the whole digital manufacturing remote and autonomous, but also the projects to deploy them are turning into be remote and autonomous. So that's pretty exciting. So maybe Çağlayan, one more question back to you. Kind of the title of the session, the future of manufacturing. So Brendan has shared a little bit about what we do together today, which is super exciting. So what do you think the future has in store for us?
I'll say the number one thing, actually building on what Brendan has shared, is our ability in terms of the time to value now. If you look at our projects in the past, Rich, you will see, like years of never-ending projects, prohibitively expensive. Now, those examples Brendan shared, and we don't have time to share everything that's going on, but 8, 10, 12 weeks, you stand up a capability that is core to the business, delivers performance and metrics, and is repeatable and scalable. That is the heart of the future of manufacturing and anything manufacturing and supply chain. That said, manufacturing is complex. It's everywhere. I mean, we treat this as an industry, but it's also a function, from defense to aerospace to semiconductor to pharma to food and beverage. I can go on and on and on. So there's not a one-size-fits-all answer. I'll start there. But coming back to the common denominators of what we're seeing in the future, where there's energy, where there's patterns. Let's go back to digital thread, which is not limited to remote operations. We're seeing a lot of digital threads of supply chains, like the whole design and engineering supply chain moving to the cloud across aerospace, across, again, pharma and life sciences. And on that note, innovation cycles informed by AI-led generative design and additive manufacturing completely being reinvented. Let's come to you. You mentioned autonomous. We're seeing a lot of automation in manufacturing and supply chains. AI being able to make decisions actually better than human beings and quicker and more accurate. Going all the way down to the concept of lights out manufacturing. There's a lot of energy around sustainability that's top of mind for every CEO. Circular economy, where it applies, are things that are going to become like mainstream conversations. 5G is a huge enabler for the edge. So edge to cloud, cloud to edge, like global connected capabilities, connected to your product, your customer, to your market signals, which meeting demand and supply, that was very, very hard, if not impossible. No more. We can put AI to work, and we can stay connected to all these signals and become infinitely more intelligent as an entity. Those are some of the things that I would mention. The key is, I think manufacturers are looking at flexibility. Many manufacturers looking at agility. I'm hearing more of these concepts of design anywhere and build locally, makers coming to the picture, like so much change is happening. It's just such a great time to be in the industry doing what we're doing, really. And I'm delighted by the joint opportunity, Rich.
And manufacturing is critical for our recovery from the pandemic. So, keep doing the great work that you do. And with that, I want to thank you both for joining us today for this quick conversation on the future of manufacturing. I find it fascinating, and I'm excited to see where it all takes us. So thank you guys for joining.
Great. Thanks, Rich.
Thank you, Rich.